It's the most wonderful time of the year, so let's celebrate this winter holiday of peace and love by talking about a movie where suicide is a major component. Ooh, tough sell. I can see why this movie didn't exactly do well in the box office. It's a Wonderful Life is a holiday drama that came out on Christmas in 1946. It was directed by Frank Capra and starred James Stewart, who also did Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. It was also the first film either of them worked on upon returning to the States after fighting World War II, and it's widely considered the most significant and powerful movie in either of their filmographies, and that's saying a lot. But to understand why critics loved this movie and why it has become one of the most widely praised and parodied films in history, we actually have to look at the script by Francis Goodrich, Albert Hackett, and Frank Capra. See, the movie uses a pretty unconventional framing device. Over half of the film is told in a flashback, but it's not the main character's flashback. God is briefing an angel named Clarence about a little mission of divine intervention as the town of Bedford Falls prays for George Bailey, who is contemplating suicide. Through this briefing, we get Clarence's reaction to key events in George's life and how everything led to this point. There's a bit of a formula in which George helps people even if it costs him everything. Numerous times he finally gets enough money to get out of town and live his dream, but then he throws it away to help the townsfolk. Despite all the good he's done, he falls on hard times and comes to the conclusion that he's worth more dead than alive. Which brings us back to the present, where the movie takes a turn for the awesome. Clarence is put in human form and saves George, not in a conventional way either, but rather uses what he knows about George and puts himself in a situation where George's selfless nature trumps all his negative emotions. After some arguing, the movie takes a turn for the legendary. George wishes he was never born, and Clarence shows him a world where that's the case. And all of those moments from earlier that just felt like standard dramatic fare get recontextualized into a very blunt point. That point being, it's the name of the movie.
You see, George, you really had a wonderful life.
Keep in mind, Clarence only showed up because of how powerful the town's prayers were. Seeing how much of a disaster everything would be without him, sobers him right up to where when he is brought back to his reality, he has nothing but boundless joy at the triumph of his own medial existence. And he is rewarded for all his good work as the townsfolk rally and raise funds to get him out of debt. And thus, a happy ending gets put on a triumphant classic. If it was just a great script, it would be excellent. But a script is only the skeleton of a movie. Every production decision amplifies this into its perma-classic status. Frank Capra is a master of his craft, expertly framing and pacing every single beat, and James Stewart's performance as George Bailey is second only to his turn as Jefferson Smith and the aforementioned Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Few films can be seen as an absolute triumph of the human spirit, and this is arguably the most triumphant. Frank Capra was a firm believer in working your way to the top, doing things out of the kindness of your heart because people will treat you the way you treat them.
Because of just one plain simple rule, love thy neighbor.
And in the end, isn't that what morality, faith, and Christmas is all about? It's a Wonderful Life is one of those precious few movies I have no issue giving a perfect 10 out of 10. So, have you seen It's a Wonderful Life? What did you think about it? And what's your favorite Christmas movie? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Mediaocrity 4. Thanks for watching.